I'm Reb Risty, head Rebel at REBL Marketing, and I'm here today with 𝙁𝙊𝙍𝙍𝙁 with Golden Law. I'm sorry. Yes. And I'm not only just excited to talk to you, we met through a Providers event, but you have some really valuable information that I think all marketers need to know, and that's about ADA compliance for websites. So Rochelle, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself to my audience? Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is 𝙁𝙊𝙍𝙍𝙍. I'm the founder of Golden Law APC. So I'm a civil defense litigator. So I represent businesses up and down the state, throughout California and state and federal court. And I'm also a proactive consultant for businesses with accessibility compliance. So I defend against lawsuits for businesses that are being sued by people with disabilities in what are oftentimes frivolous lawsuits, in my opinion. And I also work with them to get not only their brick and mortar to be proactively compliant with accessibility laws, but also their websites to be accessible as well. So that way they can proactively get in front of these types of predatory lawsuits.
Great. No, I think that's so important. And I think we hear a lot of times more from the consumer's point of view. So as a business owner myself, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. So we're going to focus on websites. So when someone does come to you, or what's the number one issue with ADA compliance in regards to business's website?
Well, I think the number one issue is that people don't even know it's a thing. So I think that's where it really, they get a demand letter, they get a lawsuit, and they're like, I don't even know what this means. What are you talking about? Yeah. So I think from the beginning, my role really becomes as an educator to them, to really explain to them, yes, there are people with visual impairments, auditory impairments, cognitive or mobility impairments that may not be able to utilize your website in the way that an able-bodied person would, or a person without those limitations. So for instance, we use a mouse, right? Or you use a mouse pad on your laptop or computer or your iPad or what have you. What if you can't use your hands? How do you navigate a website without a mouse? Okay, what if you have a visual impairment and you have low vision or you're wholly blind? Well, how do you read what's on a website? So we all know that websites and the internet is a vital part of our society and a vital part of commerce. We don't function, especially in the era of COVID, without it. We do everything online. And so if you have a visual impairment and can't see the website, it needs to be coded correctly so that their assistive technology, the user's assistive technology, such as screen reading software, which reads the screen aloud, is compliant with their assistive technology. So it really comes down to how your website is designed and how it interacts with that person's assistive technology. So again, we start from education, and then people are like, oh, this is probably important, not only for accessibility, but it affects your bottom line, because actually being compliant helps with your search engine optimization, helps with marketing. It's easier for Google to utilize and Google ads and things like that. So it's actually not only important for accessibility, but it also helps your business. So it's an important part of e-commerce.
Yeah, no, that's great, because even though we've spoken before, I didn't even think about, that somebody couldn't use their mouse. So, so once someone does come to you, or business comes to you, they've gotten this letter, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was a thing. What's the next step? Like, how do they fix these problems?
So I work with several vendors throughout the state who are all incredibly competent. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just know and trust their work. And so if they get a demand letter, it's like, okay, you've been warned of the problem. So let's get you on board with one of these reputable companies that can help you either build an entirely new website, because a lot of times people build a website, not do anything with it, and just stay stagnant for years. Well, it's time to upgrade it anyway. So why don't we take this opportunity to really beef up your internet marketing and also make it compliant with the website content accessibility guidelines. So we can either build you a new website through these vendors, or we can actually just do an audit and fix what's already there. If you have a pretty robust website and it's going to cost a fortune to redo or what have you, and then they can come alongside you and help with that process. And then my role in that is making sure that, let's say that we're creating a budget or we're staging certain portions of the project because it's expensive or out of budgets, then I come along and really help assist with that collaboration and really come up with a plan that keeps you in compliance with the laws, but also works within your budget and your timeline. So that's the proactive consulting piece that I do. And then if I'm in litigation, then it's just a matter of how, there's definitely ways to litigate, to defend against these lawsuits, but it just obviously is going to cost you a lot more than recoding your website.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So is there a certain type of business that, I guess, that has to follow these guidelines or compliance, or is it just open? Maybe tell us, like, who needs to be aware of this?
So if you just have like a standalone blog, if you're just a blogger and you're just providing information, that would not be considered a place of public accommodation. So the ADA only covers places of public accommodation, which is where the public can go and transact business. So it's going to be any retail store, any hotel, any restaurant, anything that's tied to your business that you actually transmit commerce through. So whether it's making an appointment, whether it's buying a gift certificate, whether it is doing an online chat to learn more information about something, any type of business that's open to the public that you transact business through is covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act, and accessibility needs to be thought about.
Okay. So for example, with REBL Marketing, would we have to follow those guidelines?
Absolutely. If I go on your website and I can make an appointment, look at your services, I can maybe virtually chat with you or look at some sort of presentation that you've done in the past to see if it fits my needs. All of that is what is going to help help facilitate that transaction of business. So yes, you would need to be accessible.
Great. Well, I guess I have some work to do. So now hopefully people will watch this and they're gonna go, oh my gosh, how do I learn more? Like, is there a site? Where do I find out all the guidelines that I need to follow?
Yeah, so as a layperson who's not a coder, don't waste your time because it is very complex. It's ever evolving. And so what you would really need to do is reach out to whoever maintains your website or has created your website and have a candid conversation with them of, hey, have you ever heard about this? Do you know that this even exists? What are you doing in order to make sure that my website is compliant? And if they don't know, then reach out to me and I can put you in contact with somebody that can help facilitate and train your website people. The goal is not for this other company to take over. It's really just to train your in-house people so that when the website changes, they can keep it in compliance, and because they know your product, your brand, your business model better than some third-party facilitator.
Got it. Well, that's great. I mean, Rochelle, this is such good information. I can't wait to share this with my audience. And you kind of led into it. If somebody does have a question and they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Send me an email. So my email is Rochelle, which is RACHELLE. So Rochelle at Golden, GOLDEN defense.com. And you can also, my website actually is in the final stages of getting created for website accessibility. And so it should be live here in the next couple of days. You can also go to goldenadadefense.com.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, thanks again for your time and this valuable information.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And if you want to revolutionize your marketing, give REBL a call at 858-848-7325.